Welcome, everyone, in our Lotus Chat community, whether you are joining us on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we have a very great episode for you. But first, I would like to introduce Deanne, who's here with us.
Hi, we're back.
Yes, we are back, and we're so glad that we can continue this journey with you all. And today we have episode 83, which we're going to discuss finding peace with uncertainty. And I'm sure we have discussed a bit about this in
Mm,
other Lotus Chat episodes. We had one not too long ago, I think about 10 episodes back, which was talking about fear and anxiety and how to work through that. And the reason why we chose this topic is because we wanted to delve into the unknown and what it means, when we start getting those feelings of
mm,
like being afraid of the unknown or kind of feeling anxious about those things that are uncertain. It is all within that same realm and
mm,
sphere, and we wanted to delve into that with you today. And for the whole topic today, Zian, the question that really came up for me is the fact that when I think of the word unknown, automatically I think it's synonymous with like the uncertain. What
yeah.
we cannot see, what we don't know is really certain about something is thus unknown to us and can, I would say, at least for me, bring up fears of
Mm,
anxiety and a little bit of like hesitancy in wanting to go towards those things that are not certain to me.
mm.
But when you think of the words unknown and uncertain, what feelings come up for you, Zian?
Scary. That's the first word that came out into my mind. So I think when it comes to thinking about things that's unknown, uncertain, um, I tend to not like that feeling. I think that's my honest truth. I don't like too much of things that I don't know about because I think probably deep inside me, I'm a control freak. So I want to know, okay, if I'm gonna do A, I'm gonna get B. It's like an equation. So when it's unknown, I'm like, oh, suddenly C is happening. What am I gonna do right now? So I think for me, adult life comes with a lot of surprise, uncertainty, and unknown. And I think there are so many ways we can embrace that. Yeah.
Ooh, I love that you ended it that way about how we can embrace that as adults. And it's interesting that you mentioned, like, as an adult, like, you have learned to embrace those things that are uncertain or unknown.
Mm,
But if we were to, like, rewind everybody out there and go back to when we were kids, and there were certain things, of course, that, we had fears as a kid
mm,
about, what was hiding under the bed or what was in the closet or this and that. There could have also been those things that we really embraced that were unknown, that were joys, those things that, brought us like smiles to our faces. Like, for
mm,
example, like we believed in, let's say some of you out there, you believed in superheroes and unicorns and fairies and a whole bunch of things that many people would say were, we don't know if they exist or not. But as a kid, we embraced them and we embraced the feelings of just happiness that they brought to us. And
mhm,
then as we get to adulthood, as Ian mentioned, all of a sudden real life sets in and the
mm,
realities of like everyday, there are things that are going to happen that unfortunately we don't plan for. Certain things that we're like, well, why did that happen? Or certain decisions that we'll have to make where we don't know if I do make that decision, I have no idea how it's going to end up. And that really scares me that it is a decision that I have to make like a split second decision on.
mm,
It's all the things that come up, but like it just reminds me of like the fact that when did we lose that, whole sense of adventure and that sense of joy when we face an unknown or uncertain something,
mm,
whether
mm,
it's like the potential for you to go somewhere that you've never been, or
mm.
to be in a relationship that you might not have considered, or to take that job that you were like, well, I don't know, like I may make more money, but who knows what's going to happen if I take it because it's
Mm,
so new, right? Um, like I said, it just really puts me in a sense of reflection as to when did I become so scared about what is uncertain?
mm,
When did I
mm,
become so scared about not knowing how something's going to turn out
mm,
instead
mm.
of embracing the possibility that it could actually work out.
Mm, mm.
And
And I also think that it requires a lot of practice. It's not something that we can just go like, okay, I know I like to take control of things. I like to know everything. And then tomorrow you're gonna be like, let's bring it on. So I think it takes practice. It takes it takes time to kind of get yourself and your body to get used to it. And for me, I practice it through little ways. And one of it is like, for example, in the past, I used to travel with very clear, specific itinerary. So I go like, I'm gonna do this on Monday, and then Tuesday when I arrive, and then Wednesday, and then we're gonna go here, and then Thursday. And then I think on the extreme end, it went by the hour. And then I think at one point I realized that it was probably a bit unhealthy because there's no element or room for surprise and mystery. Everything seems so like, researched, and this is how we're gonna get there. This is what I'm gonna experience. It's like I already know everything before I get there. But recently, I went to Barcelona and I went without really knowing what I'm gonna do on that day. I think I kind of knew that I will be there for 10 days, but I didn't really plan to the details of it. And it was so wonderful. Like it was so much surprise and wonder and mystery. It's like, ooh, every day I wake up like, what am I gonna experience today?
yeah, I love that you mentioned your trip to Barcelona. And I know for viewers out there, Ziana's been doing a lot of traveling lately, and she inspires me to get out there and want to like and go adventures without like really having an itinerary and to embrace, as she said, the wonder and the mystery of all of those places she's
Mm,
been to. And I think it's also like then that perspective, right? Like changing your perspective to wanting to embrace a situation, a moment, something and experience it with that sense of wonder and mystery
mm,
without really knowing like, hey, what's going to happen if I go visit this, or what's going to happen if I go see that or do this with that person. I love the idea that we're really looking into ways that we can embrace more of the uncertainty and the unknown in a I would say healthy way, because of course, we all have to be discerning when
mm,
taking certain risks and making sure that it doesn't, necessarily lead to something in a negative way for us,
mm.
our body, mind, whatnot. But I do feel there is an opportunity there for all of us out there to find small ways every day to embrace instead of worrying about what if, more like being in that moment and embracing the mystery of it and the possibility that it could teach us something new. Or maybe
Yes.
we end up learning something from someone that we wouldn't normally have decided to have that conversation with that person. Or maybe we learn a new perspective that we
Mm,
were like, well, I didn't really at first, that perspective kind of freaked me out. But when you sit and you talk to somebody and really listen to their perspective, you may walk out with like an understanding of where that person's coming from. And it could open your entire world, right? So
yes.
that takes me to the whole idea of like, it reminds me of this wonderful American writer that I read, a lot of his stuff, Joseph Campbell, and he is incredible at how he delves into like the hero's journey and how, the
Mm,
hero in many cultures goes through this process. And
mm,
in it, he describes like what the hero has to go through to get to, become the hero, right? And it's so interesting because we can all embrace that hero mentality for ourselves. We can all look at uncertainty as our heroic journey of going through life through things that we may not ever have imagined,
mm.
challenges and such, and actually think of ourselves as the one who is like in charge, like the hero. We can write our own story. We
Yes.
can choose to be courageous in the moment and take that chance and that risk. And like Zian said, embrace the mystery and the
Mm,
wonder.
mm, mm.
So in on that frame of mind, Zian, like when you think about, the fact that there's opportunity out there, what are some ways other than what you mentioned that we can all like embrace the uncertainty and find peace in the uncertainty and the unknown?
I think for me, when I know that it's an uncertain road ahead, For me, I like to not want to know all the details. So I think the detail freak in me, in the past would want to go to the details, like, oh, what's it gonna do? What's it gonna be like? Oh, what am I gonna experience? What am I expecting? Do I foresee this happening? So I kind of want to have like an idea in my mind. But I think when we delve into uncertainty, we are bound to be uncomfortable. But it's only when we're uncomfortable that we grow. So I guess, not knowing overly too much details kind of help because it maintains that level of surprise, but also not scaring yourself with too much information at the beginning.
Absolutely. I love how you talked about how being uncomfortable can actually lead to a whole like just opening up of one's mind, right? And
Mm,
possibly even the opening of the heart. And I feel like that is, you mentioned a really important part of getting to that state of being comfortable in the uncertainty, which is we need to face our internal battles with ourselves
mm,
and actually question and ask ourselves, why do I fear this? Or why do I fear that emotion or that
mm,
feeling or that
definitely.
XYZ? Where did it come from? I think it's also one of those questions we can ask ourselves. Where did that come from? How did I become so afraid of XYZ? Was it because of an experience in the past that just is still
Mm,
sticking with me that I didn't know is still there?
yeah.
Or was it because of something that I saw or something that I was external to, but it still affected me? All
Mm,
really important questions because once you can actually look into the internal parts of why and come to that state of awareness, it really does help to help you move past and work through the uncertainty and
mm,
the fears. Because Joseph Campbell has a really great quote. He said that, and I want to make sure I say this correctly because it's such a great quote. He said, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek.
mm,
And I'm like, wow, like when I read that quote and I actually keep it, I brought it out because I thought this is the perfect episode. The cave that you fear to enter is actually the treasure that you seek. And I think of all the caves that I've created, the caves of fear that I've created for myself
mm,
that actually hold a lot of that treasure of me wanting to explore more, wanting to open my heart more, wanting
mm,
to, deep down inside, I do want to do XYZ. Deep down inside, I do want to have that partnership. Deep down inside, I do want to explore more of the world. But there's that cave of fear that I created. And on the other side of it is where all the beauty lies of me actually being embracing, and saying, okay, I'm not going to let the fear get to me. I'm going to walk through the cave, walk straight to the light. And that's where I'm going to find my treasure. That's where
mm,
I'm going to
mm,
find my adventure and my partnership and my XYZ. It's
mm,
a really good metaphor if you really
yeah.
think about it. Yeah.
Mm. And I think as we also enter into all these caves, it's important to kind of bear in mind to kind of listen to the body because I think sometimes we visually see chaos and we mentally prepare ourselves for chaos, but I think sometimes our body tells us that it's fine. It's that you feel that certain level of peace, and amidst all that chaos, you kind of feel that, hey, this is okay. I think I'm going to get through this, and your body is telling you, you know, just go for it. So I think
Oh my God.
listening to that sign in your body, that's also very important.
Ooh, you talked about body cues, Ian, because this whole journey of coming to peace with uncertainty and the unknown will trigger your body to, like Zian said, it will give you these sense of discomfort. You will feel
Mm-hmm.
anxious. You will feel scared. It may trigger certain memories or certain things, and you'll be like, but it happened like this last time. How do I know when I get on the other side of this cave that there's
Yeah,
going to be light and not just another cave, right? And
right.
I think we need to have hope in the fact that you're going to keep going forward. You're going to keep moving forward. And for all of you out there who feel like you've been in one cave after another, just know that we completely understand that and we
Mm-hmm.
completely know that it's a process
Mm-hmm.
and there is always light at the other end of this. Whether it is somebody that you run into while you're in this cave was like, hey, yeah, I can walk with you. I will help walk you through to the other side. Or hey, you find a group of people and it ends up being a really great group of people that you can relate to even more and build your network even more. And they're like, you know what? We totally get it. We understand you. We're going to work through this with you. I think just remembering that along the way, no matter how difficult it is, you will find those light sources that will help you get to that other side of, the cave. So, Zian, do you have any last words for our viewers out there, our listeners?
No, I just want to reach out to those who's listening to this episode that, whatever caves of fear of unknown or uncertainty, my heart reach out to you and hope that you'll find that peace and that joy in whatever uncomfortable feelings that you're going through. Yeah. So with that, well, we're happy to hear more from you. So do email us at LotusChatWorldwide@gmail.com or follow us, click like, subscribe on our YouTube and also Spotify. So signing off.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone. Bye.